6.2, we're going to look at 7.1.
7.1.
Yes. Staff asked me to put
Move
that
to
first.
approve the second reading of the ordinance
'I'll second that.
7.1. Oh, that's right. Second
on
reading.
development impact fees.
Or incur.
That's 7.1.1. Okay. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yep.
Councilmember Brinkman,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember West,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atkin is excused, and Mayor Asher.
Aye.
Move the second reading of the affordable housing ordinance.
Second that.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes, I'm
Just trying to get.
not the best typer. Councilmember Brinkman.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember West.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atkin is excused, Mayor Asher.
Aye.
Which item is that?
7.1.
I wanted to speak on that.
The item has been voted on, but if you would like to speak at this time, you're welcome to come forward. Well, we're
That's
going
the
to talk
ordinance,
about
second reading of the
6.3.
ordinances.
That's just the second reading of the ordinance. We're still getting a presentation on impact fees with item 6.3, and that is next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so now we're at item 6.3.
So Mayor Asher and members of the City Council, I don't have another presentation for you tonight. Basically, it's the same that you heard at your last meeting. As you know, the staff recommendation is to set the affordable housing impact fee at $20,000 per unit, and for non-residential projects, $2 per square foot. The recommendation on the park and recreation fee is 25% of the maximum that was supported by the Nexus study, and the recommendation on the transportation impact fee is 20% of the maximum that was supported by the Nexus study, and that is what the resolutions before you would do. I do have the PowerPoint from your last meeting queued up if you want to review anything.
Does anyone need to see it, or should we open the public hearing?
About public.
I wasn't at the last meeting, and if you have a slide that just shows all of the through the 3 different impact fees and the cumulative effect or the total amounts based on that for the different land use types,
Yeah.
that's just a chart that would be helpful, I think.
Okay, well, here it is. Let's see.
I know it was in the staff
Are
report.
you looking for the comparison to other cities?
No. It's a
The
table.
table. Oh, okay.
Should have a few minutes.
Thank you.
All right. So this slide here shows what the maximum fees were that were supported by the studies. These are the 7 scenarios that staff developed for the sake of analyzing these fees. So we've got these 3 residential scenarios. We have office, R&D, retail and restaurant mix, and hotel. And the first residential is rental, and the next 2 are ownership, multifamily, and townhomes. So these are the maximum fees for those 7 scenarios that the Nexus studies would have supported. And then these are the staff recommended
Great.
fees.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's just keep that up.
Yeah, that'd be
All
great.
right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're interested in this, but this is a chart that compares the maximum possible fees to the recommended fees. You can see
Clearly, we're way below.
we're well within our rights to, impose these fees.
I think one of them was it 1% perhaps, the recommended?
A little more than that, but yeah, pretty low.
Okay, now I'm going to open the public hearing for this item. Anyone who wants to be heard? The impact fees?
Okay, once again, I would like to say that our goal, the modus, the rationality we should use to determine what the rate should be is what the market will bear. Now, nobody ever knows precisely what the market will bear because you have to see what the market does and you always know what the market will bear in retrospect, never moving forward. That's speculation. However, having said that, there seems to be a pattern here at City Hall whereby we're increasing the fees, which is good, but the modus or the rationale is always that this should be lower than the neighboring cities, and I just don't understand I don't understand the rationality there. I mean, it needs to be reasoned based. I don't think it should just be operating sort of in a capricious manner. I think it should be rational. And it seems to me that this is sort of not rational. I just think we should charge what Berkeley and Oakland charge. I think we are every bit as good as those cities, maybe better, arguably better. Or certainly our geographic locations better than those two cities. So I just think we should be charging, that should be the rationality generally, at least what Oakland and Berkeley charge, and that's probably closer to what the market will actually bear. And so I think that should be our general operating rational basis. I guess we're gonna be talking about, so now we're on
6.3.
what is it?
3.
6.3, okay. And this is it for the developer impact fees tonight? Okay, then one last thing I wanted to say, as presumed Mr. Nady is going to be speaking, and I just wanted to say, he's going to be arguing that he doesn't want to pay any increase in impact fees, and that's understandable. Nobody likes to pay more money. He's somebody a property owner that's selling his property, and so I just don't think his argument is compelling. Furthermore, we've already given him, as I alluded to before, a massive taxpayer giveaway in terms of a property value enhancement without any rational basis for that. That was back in 2009, and now here he comes back again asking for more taxpayer bailout, essentially is what he's only asking for. He wants the taxpayers to fund his project. And I say, and if he's saying he can't make a go of it with this project, he says the whole thing is going to crash down if he has to pay less than what neighboring cities charge, then the project will falter and fail. And to that, I say, and I think you should say, well, it's not compelling. We don't, you're in the wrong business then. If you can't compete with other developers in an even playing field, level playing field, well then we don't really have any. We don't feel sorry for you. Just we're not here to give largesse to developers. We're here to make a livable city. Thank you very much.
What else to be heard on the impact fees?
Thanks for the introduction. My name is John Nady. In spite of Mr. Donahue's indictments, I'd like to present some realistic facts for the city to consider in making a decision regarding the impact fees in all cases. For the benefit of those here and watching on television, I'd like to read an email I sent to all of you this afternoon. As you decide the disposition of the affordable housing impact fees, including fees for the major residential rental developments currently in the city pipeline, I would like to point out that the city will never collect fees on projects that are scuttled by a $20,000 per unit fee. Projects that were based on the economics known at the time development plans were submitted to the city would be unfairly killed by an impact fee that was not factored into its plans. That happened to my project that Avalon Bay was developing at 6701 Shellmount Street. Given Avalon Bay's plans submitted to the city, now almost fully entitled, the huge unanticipated almost $5 million retroactive fee increase made the project unworkable. Please understand that my already submitted plans optimize projected rates of return that have slim profit margins because of fixed and increasing costs. In fact, even if my plans are changed, the economics, including the increased impact fees, still would not allow for residential rental development, the most cost-effective type of development, to be built. Unless the city adopts a smaller fee, impact fee, or grants an exemption for projects that have already submitted plans, the city will never see fees on projects that are killed and will lose the other benefits that would come from these developments, including the transfer tax which is tied into the selling price of the property, as you know. My company will be forced to remain in its present location in an aging building, which would not be a positive outcome for either the city or my company. I urge you to consider this matter carefully and not impose the proposed draconian $20,000 per unit affordable housing impact fee. I urge the city to lower the new impact fee for residential rental properties that have already submitted plans to the city to a level that would be more workable, as for example, $8,000 per unit, or better yet, to exempt these projects. In the remaining time, I'd like to address a couple of points Mr. Donahue brought up. He says that I was granted a gift in the zoning changes that were made a few years back. My understanding was that they were essentially a continuation of the previous zoning that was allowed for my building based on feedback I'd gotten from interested parties in the city previously. So in the sense that it was nothing new, I don't see that as a largesse or a gift as he
Time is up. Thank you.
as he said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak on this item? Yeah.
Hi again, Felix Aoyang, EH Housing. I am here to support the recommended impact fees. I think it will be a huge asset for the city moving forward, for affordable housing, for Parks and Rec, and for transportation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to be heard? No? Okay, with that, I'll close the public hearing. To it.
I have a couple comments.
Yeah, go ahead, Jennifer.
First of all, I want to thank the staff. I think this was about a 1.5 year process in terms of doing these nexus studies and really coming up with a rationale and understanding for what we can do to support the infrastructure and the need for new infrastructure from new development in our town. And with the loss of redevelopment, the need for this all the more. It's very complex, and I appreciated the level of detail that we were given ample opportunity to look at again and again, and the public comments as well. I do have a couple comments relating to, first of all, the comparison with other cities. And as I understand it, several cities that we are comparing with here are considering raising their fees even more at this time, or doing their own impact studies for different impact fees. So maybe they have the transportation in place, but not the affordable housing, or vice versa. The other item that I would like to highlight, which is on the table that Charlie put up, which is looking at the $2 per square foot recommended fee for office research and development and retail and restaurant mix. I want to highlight especially the retail and restaurant mix. And I understand that staff recommended the $2 per square foot because of the market and basically what they think the market will bear. And I understand also that we can revisit these fees on an ongoing basis. But when I look at the jobs that are created by retail and restaurant in the city, those are the lowest paid jobs in our community. And I know that most people who, and if you read the study and you look at the national statistics on the average salary for folks who work in retail or restaurant, there's no way they can afford to live in Emeryville. So they're living somewhere else. And how are we taking care of the people who do work in our town? So I would ask the council if you're interested in supporting an increase of that $2 per square foot to a $4 per square foot, and that would be for all of those three
For
commercial
all three?
uses. Yeah. The demand for affordable housing is directly linked to the jobs that that we have in this town, and this is one way to show that. It was also brought to my attention that recent research from UC Davis has Emeryville with 7.8 minimum wage jobs for each affordable housing unit that we have in town. And there's a deficit then of about 1,150 affordable units, homes for people in town. when you read through the details, we have done well compared to our neighbors in producing affordable housing in town, but it is woefully inadequate. And the fact that we have so many more jobs in our community than housing, I think it's in terms of units, it's three something times the number of homes. We need to recognize our responsibility for providing adequate housing for people in town, whether they're working with a high-paid job or with a lower-paid job as well. And here's another thought that I think is really critical for us to consider, which is that every new market rate unit that we build increases the demand for affordable housing. And that's why we have this rationale that supports a fee on new multifamily rental units. We're not keeping up. We're not building enough affordable housing to make up for the deficit that we have now. And our development of market rate is actually exacerbating this housing and job imbalance in town. So, when you look at our RENA numbers, we're supposed to produce basically 50-50 affordable units and market rate units. That doesn't happen. But I'm just glad to see us taking a step in the right direction so that we will have ongoing funds towards creating affordable housing units going forward. And again, I'll just put out there, if the council's interested, I would support raising the per square footage from $2 to $4.
Other comments from council?
I guess my only comment is, if that happens, I'd like to bring this back again so people know about the change and they can come to the meeting and see how that affects them. Because this is what's been published and this is what everybody expects right now. And to change it tonight without having, outreach to our developers in town, I don't think that's really fair. So
well, we changed another rate this evening without putting it back to the public.
Well, in this case, this has been published for a long time, as the other one has been.
Yeah, it's just a recommendation from staff. So I think we're allowed to set it anywhere up to the cap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nora, did you want to weigh in, or?
Jennifer, I'm not quite clear. We're looking at the affordable housing column, and you're saying to increase the retail restaurant mix to $4?
And R&D and all.
And R&D and office.
Yeah, we've compared ourselves to other jurisdictions, and maybe staff can help me out. I think that a neighboring jurisdiction has it at $4 already. But maybe we'd have to go back and look at the comparisons to know. I think that the $2 was low, or maybe they don't have it there. But that was recommended.
I would support this.
Anyone who can help me with that would be great.
I believe Oakland has a fee of $4. Berkeley, has a fee, I believe, in the $4 range, and Alameda does as well.
Okay,
Excuse me, would you introduce yourself?
I would
please?
support that.
Excuse me, David Dozema with Kaiser Merst and the authors of the two housing impact fee studies.
Thank you.
If I may, Charlie, do you have the sheets showing what that comparison would look like?
I do. If the council's interested, I've updated the comparison with other cities in anticipation that you might want to consider raising it to $4. So I can show you what that looks like.
Why don't you do that?
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's not rocket science. Basically, for uses would have their fees increased by $2 a square foot. However, I also included hotels because this is based on $2 a square foot also, on the assumption that the hotel room is 350 square feet. So
it would double that.
That would raise that by $700. Okay. So let me just find it here. Which one is it? Here it is. Okay, so this is the comparison with other cities currently. So we've got, for office, we have Emeryville, Berkeley, Oakland, Walnut Creek, and also for retail mixed use, for retail mix rather. For R&D, we swapped out Oakland and Walnut Creek with Richmond and Alameda because we felt that they were our closer competitors for that use. So this is what the impact fee looks like with $2 a square foot for the affordable housing fee, and this is what it looks like at $4 a square foot. Obviously, they all go up by $2. So here we're, roughly equal to the other cities, and here we're higher than all of them. However, as Councilmember West noted, and I did make a point of this in my presentation last time, other cities are considering raising their fees as well.
Do you know which cities are?
Not off the top
I
of
know
my head.
Oakland is undergoing an
Oakland, I
impact.
believe
is.
Alameda is
Yeah,
looking at their fees.
I think quite a few of them are. I'll just tell you that, I attend a monthly meeting of all of the planning directors in all the Alameda County cities, and they're all very interested in what we're doing because they want
Okay.
and then this is hotels. This is interesting because this is the impact fees that we've proposed at $2 a square foot, and it's lower than the other cities. And if we raise it to $4, it's about the same.
And there's maybe going up, we don't know.
Right.
If they.
Right. So that's what it would look like. So this is for hotels, and then this is for the others.
And Charlie, bring back that chart where it compares to what the possible charge we could, what the extent of the nexus is.
Okay.
Percentage.
This is the maximum, the green is the maximum that we
Right.
could charge under the nexus studies, and the dark blue is what the staff recommendation is at $2 a square foot for hotels, for non-residential, for housing, and if we raise that to $4, those little blue bars would bump up a little bit.
But
I
there's still
didn't make the
plenty of
point.
room.
They're still well within the maximum.
Right.
Well below the maximum.
I didn't make the point about hotels because it wasn't per square foot, but it makes sense that it's based on a per square foot. And I have to say that besides retail and restaurant, hotels are the other employers of very low-paying jobs, although they're better off in Emeryville than they are somewhere else.
Is that a motion to approve that?
Yeah, my motion would be to change those square footage and the hotels.
I'd second that motion.
So just to clarify, you have before you 3 resolutions, one for each fee. I don't know if we need to vote on them separately.
Yes.
The city attorney says we do. The first one, I believe, is the affordable housing fee, so that would be the one that you would be modifying.
So my motion is for 6.3.1, and it's to follow the staff recommendation with the exception of the $2 per square foot recommendation being changed to $4 per square
And
foot.
Nora seconded.
Second.
Anyone opposed?
I am on that one.
Do we need a roll call vote?
I think as long as everybody is
3 to 1?
3 to 1.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinkman opposed.
I'll move the next, the park and recreation facility impact fee as staff recommended.
Second.
Anyone opposed? No? Okay, that's 4-0.
Move the transportation facility impact fee.
I'll second that.
Anyone opposed?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, 4-0 on that. All right. Moving along